Ciao fellow travelers, Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in one of my two favorite cities in the world, Rome, Italy. And today what we have for you are the 10 things that are going to shock you about visiting Rome. So let's get started. The first thing that's going to shock you is if you just speak a little bit of Italian, how much the Italians, the Romans really open up. Honestly, the Romans are probably the nicest big city people I have met anywhere in the world. It is so awesome when you come here because they are friendly and they know that the tourists are here and that's what's helping drive their economy. So they treat the tourists pretty well here. And that's kind of shocking when you're used to going to other places. You know, Venice, they kind of shoo you off and stuff like that, or you know, Barcelona and other places. And that's what's cool is here, they are super friendly. And if you just speak a little Italian, expect the doors to be wide open and people will talk to you. We've had people, you know, oh, we'll hold the baby, you eat, fa bene, it's okay, don't worry about it. I mean, that's the first thing that shocked me when I came here, was how friendly and hospitable the Romans are in general. And that's cool is just speaking a little bit of Italian. Yes, I know there's the grazie and the prego, the thank yous and your welcomes, but just a little bit more, man, it opens up the doors so much. That's the first thing that shocks you, is how nice these big city people can be if you speak a little bit of Italian, and even if you don't. The second thing that'll shock you when you're here is, guess what, Americans? You don't share your pizza here. Rome is the place to eat pizza. This is the best place. The water here is fantastic, and I'll talk about that later. But the thing is, you're going to eat pizza when you're here, and you don't have to share it with anybody, which is one of those things that shocks Americans when they're like, I'm going to order a pizza. We'll share it with the whole family. Oh, no, 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 no. Each pizza, that's just for you, okay? Now, the third thing that's going to shock you when you come here is, well, there are some bad parts, and that is the pickpockets on the metro and at the major sites. You really got to pay attention when you go to those, because getting on and off the metro at Colosseo, like at the Colosseum or Termini Station, you really got to pay attention because there are a lot of pickpockets at work. I've seen it where bag slashes. I've seen people's, literally in people's pockets. My dad caught a guy with his hand in his pocket, and the guy got the wrong pocket because the money was in the other one. You really got to be careful when you are here, so pay attention when you're at any of the sites, and that means even inside the museums. Going into the Vatican Museums, you still need to pay attention. But think about it, you're in the Vatican, a holy place, and people are still picking pockets, so you really need to pay attention to that, all right? Now, the fourth thing that's going to shock you when you come here is you're going to see a lot of fountains when you are here. Now, the fountains behind me, you're not going to drink that water, but what you're going to see is there's a lot of water fountains that you can drink, and the water here in Rome is fantastic. So if you see a place where the locals are like bending down and getting a drink of water, feel free to get some as well because it is great. Therefore, only buy one bottle of water and you can refill it with those when you go around town. It'll make it a lot easier for you, okay? Now, the fifth thing that's going to shock you are the lines, and specifically the lines at the Colosseum and the Vatican Museums. Literally, the line at the Vatican is like a kilometer long, it seems like sometimes. You can waste 2 or 3 hours in line to go into it. Same thing at the Colosseum. So what you want to do is pre-book your tickets for the Colosseum and especially the Vatican Museum. I know what we usually do. We use a company called Walks of Italy, and they have a Vatican tour where you can go in early and see the Sistine Chapel by yourself. It is so great. But just know, if you don't do that, you're going to have a line that's going to be shockingly long, and when you've got heat bearing down on you in the summer where it's 35 degrees here, so it can get really hot with no shade or protection, it can really get to you, especially if you have kids. So don't be shocked when you see those lines going, oh my God. Now, the fifth thing that'll shock you when you're here is this is a super huge touristy town, but it's also a living city. So they do have places like Piazza Navona where there's restaurants with tourist menus and stuff like that. You'll be shocked how much they want to rip you off. But what's shocking about it is if you go 3 or 4 blocks from a tourist site, you will be in kind of an own neighborhood, back alley kind of Rome, and you get to have food with locals, meet the locals, shop with the locals, and it's really cool because you have this big, huge city with a small town feel, only 3 blocks away from the major sites. So don't eat at Piazza Navona, don't eat in front of, the Colosseum or something like that. Go a little bit farther afield, you get better food, better prices, really friendly people, and so that's one of those things there. Now, the sixth thing that might shock you is, look, don't be surprised if you're wearing something revealing and skimpy if they don't let you into a church, okay? Not all the churches have these rules, but they do have some rules about the etiquette you should have in the churches and the clothes you can and cannot wear. So just make sure you bring some kind of more appropriate clothing if you're going to go into the churches. Now, the Vatican, they pretty much let everybody in and a lot of the churches, but just pay attention and have respect, and you'll see the Italians and the Romans, man, they dress fantastically, and you'll be shocked how crappy you feel you look when you see the average Roman just walking down the street, okay? So make sure you're dressed appropriately, otherwise you might be shocked that you're not going to get in to go into a church or two. Now, the seventh thing that's going to shock you when you come here is the amount of tourist sites they do have here in Rome. I mean, it's Rome. Come on, we all know Rome. You've got the Colosseum and the Roman Forum. You can go to the Vatican, which actually is another country, so you can get two countries for the price of one when you come here. Go see the Vatican Museums and all that thing with the Sistine Chapel. You can see Trevi Fountain and throw your coin in over your left shoulder when you're here. Or you can go to the Spanish Steps. I mean, there's site after site after site after site after site after site after site. I mean, there are so many sites here, and it's shocking how much there is to do here. So don't be shocked if you don't have time to do everything. So make sure you plan things out so you get, all the sites you really want to see. Plan those out, maybe stay in a different site, like focus on a different section of town each day. Go to Campo di Fiore to see the markets one day and go to do the Vatican stuff another day. But that's why it's the seventh shock, is how much there is to see and do when you are here. Which kind of leads into the eighth shock you're going to have here, is how many tourists come here every year. You will be with tourist hordes everywhere. I'm out here filming about 9 o'clock in the morning so I can actually get here before the hordes are out, because no matter what time of year you come, there are tourists here in Rome, and it is always packed. So the prices do get driven up a bit, and the hotel rooms, man, they're always going to be expensive. So I say stay in the center because it makes life a lot easier. And that leads us into the next shock, is how compact Rome really is. I mean, there's only 3 metro lines and you don't really need to use them at all, because Rome, everything's so close together. Today, I left my hotel by Termini, I walked 15 minutes, I was at Trevi Fountain, and then I went to the Spanish Steps, and then I went to the Pantheon. Now I'm here at Piazza Navona, and you go from site to site to site, and it's so compact, it's easy to do. And that's what's really cool about it. That's why I always say, stay in the center, because you can just walk everywhere, and then you can avoid the metro and the buses, where the pickpockets really work, and really do nail people quite a bit. So stay in the center to enjoy all those sites, because the compactness makes it real easy. Oh, and also bring comfortable shoes, because you're going to be doing all this walking on cobblestones and stuff like that. Your feet will get tired, they will hurt. I've seen people try to be tourists with high heels. You're crazy. Okay, so just be ready for that. Now, number 9 on our list is a special request for Jocelyn, and Jocelyn said, Mark, you got to talk about the public toilets. Look, let's put it this way. Public toilets in Rome aren't that easy to come by. The restaurants have them, but they know that tourists are coming in and out, so they're not really big. They're not always super clean, and sometimes, as Jocelyn experienced, she went to a couple that had actually poop on the walls, and it was a really bad experience. So just know, make sure you use the bathroom in your hotel before you go out for the day, because finding those public toilets that are clean and stuff like that is not as easy as you think it's going to be. And the 10th thing that's going to shock you is how much you're going to love Rome. I mean, you read about it and you've been learning about it since you were in school, learning about Roman history and stuff like that. But when you come here and see it, you truly fall in love with this city. And that's why, I mean, I've literally been here 25 times. Because I love this city so much, and I was, they were cleaning Trevi Fountain today, and I'm worried, wait, will I be able to get my coin in so I can come back? Because remember, you throw the coin over your shoulder to make sure you come back to Rome. So I'm like sneaking off to the side, and throwing it over my shoulder, because no matter what, you are going to love this city more than anything in the world, because I love it, you'll love it, everyone loves it, so don't be shocked for that. Anyway, if you want to learn more about visiting Italy or Rome, 10 things that'll shock you about Rome, or 10 things that'll shock you about the Vatican, or 5 things you love and hate about Italy, check us out on our website at woltersworld.com. And we really appreciate your likes and subscriptions, and I'm sorry I had to finish the video off like this, but my camera died. So, ciao from Italy.